Welcome to 11 on 11 right here on THV 11 Plus. We start with the show with health news. Cancer patients will continue to have access to specialized treatment at UAMS. The university's Proton Center was at risk of closing, but it's now said to remain open. THV 11's Carter Thweet explains what changed and why it matters.
The financial challenges haven't just been in Little Rock. They've been in other places around the country with some of these similar type deals.
Financial challenges for Proton International, the group that formerly ran the UAMS Proton Center. Chancellor C. Lowry Barnes was shocked to learn of the center's struggles.
It had a significant debt, some $58 million worth of debt for a piece of equipment that cost $35 million. And that's hard to pay off, and it struggled.
The center was in danger of closing until Thursday. UAMS, which already owned 20% of the facility, made a big announcement.
We're in a transaction now that will become the sole owner of the Proton Center,
keeping the center open and the treatment available. What exactly is that treatment? Barnes says it targets cancer more precisely, minimizing the damage to the rest of the body.
A special type of radiation that is very localized. So if you're treating a tumor the size of a pea, you don't have to treat something the size of a softball around it.
Barnes says this is a win for the entire state.
Arkansans now have the most advanced radiation treatment available right here in their state, just like we've had for a few years, but now they know we have it going forward. They don't have to worry about the center not staying open.
In Little Rock, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
Carter, thank you. Baptist Health and Arkansas Children's also previously held small ownership stakes in the Proton Center. Under the new agreement, both health systems will give up their shares to make UAMS the sole owner. In other health news, cases of Cyclospora continue to climb across Arkansas since we last updated you earlier this week. According to the Arkansas Department of Health, the state has now topped 100 confirmed cases of the foodborne parasite. Most of those cases are concentrated in northwest Arkansas, including Benton and Washington counties. Health officials also confirm a handful of cases in central Arkansas, but say the numbers remain relatively low. Local doctors are reinforcing the same advice as federal health officials, urging people to take steps to protect themselves from the parasite.
If you're buying produce at your grocery store and you're cleaning it yourself, you have less control over the situation. If you're going to a restaurant and you're depending upon other people to wash the lettuce for you.
Doctors say most people do make a full recovery, but they warn that more severe cases can cause dehydration, low blood pressure, and electrolyte loss.
These facilities do not pay sales tax. They pay very little in property taxes, and this has been the MO all across the U.S.
Objections to data centers loud and clear in two places Tuesday night. Protesters like the one you just heard in Conway and another divided vote in Little Rock. The plans by data center developer Avio to build near Wrightsville are once again facing harsh criticism from opponents, and Google wants to put one near the Port of Little Rock inside city limits. Earlier this week, the Quorum Court faced a proposal to protect those projects already on the books while blocking future centers. But opponents managed to take that grandfather clause away. For months, the court members have faced crowds overwhelmingly against building the huge computer buildings. And Catherine Rowley shows us they returned last night and appeared to have forced the process back to the drawing board.
Justice Curry, you failed to pass your ordinance. Good luck next time.
After weeks of public comment and debate among Quorum Court members, the data center ordinance failed Tuesday night. Justice of the Peace Stephen Person also proposed an amendment to strengthen the rules, but that measure did not pass either.
And I didn't feel comfortable in the current language, so I do not want, since our planning department is currently assessing regulations, I did not want any company or entity to be exempt.
Community members continue to voice their frustrations over the proposed Avio site near Wrightsville and the lack of answers.
We know there are no plans to protect us from air, water, and noise pollution. We know data centers increase the temperature in the area, as said before. This causes a major increase in electric bills for us. We have to pay it. We know that Avio has never built a facility like the one proposed.
The county has not confirmed those specifics, but they reflect widespread concern in the community.
So I am here tonight to remind you that we do expect this moratorium to be passed, and remind you that your job is to serve Pulaski County, not a few people and not corporate interests, but the entirety of Pulaski County.
In Little Rock, Catherine Rowley, THV 11 News.
Thank you, Catherine. Arkansas lawmakers are getting their first look at where the state could expand nuclear energy. The legislature ordered a study more than a year ago, and the company hired by the state has presented its preliminary findings. The state hired the consulting firm Excel Services Corporation in 2025. Since then, the company has been studying whether expanding nuclear energy in Arkansas would be practical. The interim report says small modular reactors could be a good fit. They are smaller versions of traditional plants like Entergy's Nuclear One in Russellville. Supporters say utilities could add more reactors over time as power demand grows, including demand from data centers. Excel identified 6 areas across Arkansas that could support small modular reactors. They include fast-growing northwest Arkansas, along with areas in central and southwest Arkansas. The report says sites in the Delta would need more seismic review, including the steel-producing region in Mississippi County. Meanwhile, the Little Rock Board of Directors back to business, but recent absences are affecting how much can be done. City leaders say low attendance has delayed votes and raised new concerns about the board's ability to get work accomplished. Last week, only 5 of the 10 directors showed up, leaving the board without enough members to take any official action. This week, 7 directors attended, allowing votes on resolutions, but still not enough to fast-track some ordinances. City leaders say most of the recent absences are likely tied to summer travel, but Ward 2 Director Ken Richardson hasn't attended a board meeting in more than 2 years because of an undisclosed illness.
We have never been in a situation where we did not have enough board members to take action. That's never happened. I've been on the city council for over 30 years, and that's never happened.
We've been able to, make it without Director Richardson being there. I think it definitely is a hindrance.
Officials expect attendance to improve after summer, but say the long-term vacancy continues to make it harder for the board to move business forward. Arkansas State Police say fewer people are dying on the state's roads this year. ASP has reported 47 fewer fatal crashes than at this point last year. The agency credits stronger enforcement and public education, but says drivers still have the biggest role in keeping that number down. Colonel Mike Hagar says troopers are focused on changing behavior, not writing more tickets.
People are always interested to learn that we typically, by far, write more warnings than we do citations. So this is not about generating activity, generating citations.
Hager says following too closely is the most common cause of crashes, with speed being the biggest factor in deadly collisions. He urges drivers to buckle up, slow down, drive sober, and put your phone away. The state's annual sales tax-free weekend is finally here, covering everything from school supplies to apparel, plus electronics. However, Arkansas Department of Finance and Administration says the savings go far beyond back-to-school shopping. THV 11's Tamer Knight has everything you need to know.
If you've been putting off a big purchase or looking for ways to save just a few dollars, count your coins, because this weekend is the time to spend.
Conservatively, we think this saves several $1 million for Arkansans over the course of the 2 days.
The tax-free holiday was created by the Arkansas legislature back in 2011.
Starting at 12:01 a.m. on August 1st, all the way to 11:59 p.m. on the 2nd, if you buy one of these qualified items, you won't pay the 6.5% state sales tax or the local sales tax. We can confidently say people are saving, $5, $6, $7, $8 million over the course of this weekend.
While some may think of the tax holiday as just for back-to-school shopping, that's no longer the case.
Whether you're purchasing new clothing, whether you have a piece of jewelry you want, whether it's diapers, whether it's a family that's been looking at purchasing all new cell phones, there is something on that list that would either interest you or you need just in your day-to-day life.
Families and even businesses can save on expensive technology purchases. Plus, clothing priced under $100 per item also qualifies, along with certain school supplies and diapers. However, not everything qualifies.
The easiest thing to do is just go to dfa.arkansas.gov, and we have everything right there just prominently posted. So you can find that list, and you can also find what's actually taxable, because there are some questions there.
Tamer Knight, THV 11 News.
Tamer, thank you. We have more details now on the Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts and their plans to expand its reach beyond exhibits. Its new More Than a Museum campaign highlights the museum's role in education, tourism, and Arkansas's cultural economy. Officials announced new partnerships Thursday. One brings STREAM learning to Sylvan Hills Elementary, West Wind School for Performing Arts, and Parkview Arts and Science Magnet High School. STEAM building builds on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math by adding art to the mix. Another partnership with Women and Children First will expand art programming for survivors of domestic violence.
Little Rock may not be a Big Five sports city, but we are a Big Five arts city. And we boast professional visual arts, dance, symphony, theater, and film organizations.
That artistic strength is on display for PARK's latest graduating class. The year-round program helps Little Rock students graduate and prepare for college. It celebrated 23 seniors Thursday with a new mural by Rex Deloney, who has created class tributes for nearly 2 decades. This year's also his mother honors his.
I think about these students and all the times that they have gone through in these past years, being from the 7th through 12th grade, and with COVID and everything like that. So I was really trying to make sure that it would be monumental for them. I think the heartwarming part about dedicating this to my mom, because she was here for the past 16 the murals that I did. So those were significant parts about this year's mural.
The gym on Geyer Springs Road has 23 murals on display inside, and Deloney has created 17 of them. Entergy Arkansas asking to raise rates, but some customers are pushing back. Next, why the utility urges this is about more choices, not higher bills. Welcome back. Entergy Arkansas is asking state regulators to approve a new rate plan that would make most residential customers pay more. The company defending its proposal at a public hearing last night, while some customers raised concerns about reliability and transparency. THV 11's Catherine Rowley breaks down what each side told the commission.
Entergy Arkansas says its rates are 22% below the national average, and it plans to raise most residential customer bills by less than 1%.
This rate case is not about increasing rates. It is about making sure that we have more options available for our customers.
The proposed increase is less than 2% for most residential customers. Entergy says it will reestablish low rates, add new options, and support existing programs. Commissioners will have to weigh that pitch against concerns about reliability and transparency.
We've actually been operating under a formula rate plan for the last 10 years, and that formula rate plan allowed for annual review by the Public Service Commission of our rates and our revenues and all of the things in our operations.
Under state law, the formula rate plan ends December 31st. Entergy's Ventrell Thompson says that the utility wants to reestablish it because it sees success offering more choices to customers, including a special rate for people who qualify for low-income home assistance.
We also have time of use rates where we're that will allow customers to better manage their costs by shifting their usage to certain times where the price of electricity is actually lower in the off-peak times.
Entergy also pushed back on what it calls misconceptions, especially around proposed data centers.
There is no data center cost in this rate case. In fact, we have a commitment to our customers to keep rates low, and for data centers, we're making sure that the data centers pay all of the costs to serve them, so our residential customers and our other business customers don't have to pay that.
But not everyone buying that argument showed up to agree. At Wednesday's meeting, some asked the commission to reject Entergy's request, citing concerns about transparency.
I have a hard time being told that Arkansas families need to pay more and more when I don't see the reliability that I believe we should be getting from the system that we already have. And I think there are some questions that do deserve honest answers.
The Public Service Commission did not make a decision on Wednesday. It will hold evidentiary hearings in early November. Catherine Rowley, THV 11 News.
And we have an update on an investigation into a troubled apartment complex in Jacksonville and its dangerously damaged elevators. Months after our report, state inspectors say one of the elevators at Jacksonville Towers is back in compliance. The state licensing board says the second one is still out of service, but violations connected to the now working elevator have been fixed. Inspectors say the landlord has two proposals for rebuilding or replacing that second elevator, but a final agreement has not been reached. And tensions over the poultry industry are growing again in Cleveland County. Construction is now underway on another chicken farm, and neighbors say they're still concerned about how it could impact their property and health. THV 11 investigative reporter Tanya Motorzitsky returned to Risen to find out what's happening at the site and why the project is continuing to stir up concern.
It's not the view Cleveland County residents like Janet Kimsey are used to.
The woods and stuff was all the way up to that. Then they came in and they clear cut it.
What was once a shady area filled with trees is now a clear view of chicken houses under construction.
My dad, first the words out of his mouth when he found out they were coming, he's like, I think I'm fixing to move. But we've been here for, 100 years.
We first met Kimsey last year when the state ordered Tina Farm to address waste runoff following an inspection prompted by complaints from neighbors.
Bad days, you can smell it.
7 months later, Kimsey says the problem is growing as their community welcomes more chicken farms.
Here to there, and there's chicken houses everywhere.
Including this one just off of US 63.
There could be 60,000 plus chickens over there, depending on what they're going to be raising, because I don't have any idea on that either.
And when she asks questions, Kimsey says,
we don't get any answers.
Now she and other residents are pushing county leaders to take action. Kimsey told us she and her dad spoke at the quorum court meeting in June. She says members told them there's not much that can be done and that the county does not issue building permits.
I think they could if it was pushed, but I don't think they'll want to.
We reached out to county officials who told us they do not regulate where poultry houses are built and pointed us to the Arkansas Department of Agriculture. We contacted the agency for 2 weeks to learn more about the approval process and this project, but we have not heard back. We also looked into the farm currently being constructed. According to county property records, the land is owned by Daunt Family Farm LLC. Kimsey says the Department of Agriculture told her the company is connected to Dyson. State business filings we found show the company was created in August last year by Daunt Tile of Pine Bluff. Finally, we reached out to the Arkansas Department of Environmental Quality about the concerns. The agency explained its role is limited to environmental permits because stormwater rules for construction projects that disturb large amounts of land. Despite the limited responses from officials, Kimsey and her neighbors say they're not giving up.
I don't want them over there, but there's probably not a thing in the world I can do. But I'm going to give it my best fight.
In Risen, Tanya Motorzitsky, THV 11 News.
What began as one woman's path through a challenging time has turned into a mission to help others find healing. Coming up, we honor the heroes creating a place where people can heal through natural therapy. Two troubling mental health trends have gained attention over the past decade: rising suicide rates among farmers and veterans. As Rolly Hoyt reports, starting the conversation is an important step, but at a small Garland County farm, some believe giving veterans hands-on work and purpose in agriculture may also be making a difference.
And when COVID hit in 2020, and that was such a dark time for so many people, I started to come up with my own exit strategy.
Tina Cooper and her husband used to live deep in the dark woods out past Hot Springs.
This was woods. Yeah, this was just wood.
Until a light in a dark time prompted her to start to clear some space.
I didn't speak to anyone or talk to anyone about being so depressed. And within an hour, I got a phone call from a neighbor that was giving away a mini horse and a donkey.
Those two humble critters turned into a flock of ducks and geese and goats and dogs, until Cooper realized the little barnyard they built had produced something surprising in her, and that the Royal Sanctuary Therapy Farm could help others too.
Hundreds of people have come down the road. I'd like to say that we are a distraction attraction.
The farm is now a venue. Counselors can use it to give patients and clients a chance to interact with nature. There's gardening.
It's hugelkultur. It's a European style of farming.
And chances to feed the birds and bunnies.
So I'll usually put a basket of bunnies here, and the counselors will use this, we hold the bunnies and they talk.
A basket of bunnies?
Yes, yeah, a little bucket of bunnies.
But almost immediately, the need for volunteers to help with projects drew in veterans groups. And then some of them started making regular trips on their own.
I have retired this year, and I was looking for ways to stay busy and to help out somebody.
Rob Cochran says he saw a flyer at the hardware store, but Cooper counts his choice to visit among the miracles she's seen. He had lost his wife. He'd shown reluctance to come out, and Cooper recognized that darkness she once felt. She practically dragged him out one day, and now he's a fixture.
Coming here gives me that sense of fellowship with my fellow veterans, talking to people, and we compare war stories and just have a good time. It's something that I've missed since I've been out of the service.
I'm not a therapist. All I have done is open my farm up. But everybody comes and gets something here.
And the things this farm grows figure to yield future bumper crops, with expansion plans, filling in more of those bright open spaces.
It's just so beautiful here and peaceful with the animals and the nature. It's just a great place to come, meet people, talk, fellowship. Oh, I couldn't talk better about it.
And that'll do it for our 11 on 11 right here on THV 11 Plus. Join us next week for all of your top headlines in the natural state.